Since the dawn of the modern age, a time when swinging naked on a wrecking ball can make you famous, and when humans are overpolluting the planet, one question has remained elusively unanswered. Scientists have devoted their entire lives to answering this one strange inquiry, yet they have still come up empty. So if the greatest minds of our time couldn't solve this mystery, then what chance do I have? Well, turns out, the best chance. Because whether or not a fictional fox loves a fictional hedgehog should not be wasted on scientists. But I, Grant of Treesicle, mind of the internet and master of lore and research and butt jokes, know the answer to this question. And together we will bring you, my internet children, into the light of your computer screen and more. Well, that got a little weird for a second, but yeah, I'm gonna try to figure out whether or not Tails actually loves Sonic. If you've never had a computer, you may not have noticed that there's a lot, like a lot of Sonic and Tails Rule 34 out there. For the sake of your eyes, and so our video doesn't get taken down for copyright infringement and more, I'm not gonna be showing any of the intricate art in this video. But here's a small image I created to help give you the idea of what exactly I'm talking about here. So it's kinda like this picture, but with more genitals and intercourse and blushing. My question is why? Why are Sonic and Tails always in a never-ending cycle of kissing and blood? Is there any validation for these pictures? Or is it just a weird furry gamer fantasy? And more importantly, where does the idea of a sidekick being in love with the main character come from? If you think Sonic and Tails are the first sidekick and main character to be shipped, you'd be sadly mistaken. Perhaps the most famous example of this is Batman and Robin, but the same could be said for Frodo and Sam. This is not unique to the Sonic universe. It's a real trope in storytelling. And that still leaves the question of whether or not it's real, true, unconditional love or not. And that's what I'm going to be getting into today. So where does the idea that Tails is in love with Sonic come from? Well, Tails has a sort of strange infatuation with Sonic, and a lot of that has to do with how the two first met. When Tails was younger, he was bullied a lot for having two tails. Obviously, most foxes don't have two tails, and as you know how it goes on the playground, you either conform or you get bullied by the kid who thinks he's baby Hitler. However, Tails then met Sonic and was so inspired by his speed and coolness that he vowed to work to be as cool as Sonic one day. Tails then began to follow Sonic and eventually became his best friend and sidekick. Seems like a nice little story, doesn't it? But in reality, it's kinda creepy. I mean, Tails was so overcome and infatuated by Sonic's speed and coolness that he literally started following him. That's what you call a stalker, people. I mean, I guess it all worked out in the end, but having such a deep admiration for another being that you follow them around and then befriend them is not the best start to a relationship. This is pretty solid proof that Tails has romantic feelings for Sonic, albeit ones that are kind of touchy and a little much. In addition to that, when playing Tails in Sonic Adventure 2, if you happen to run him off a cliff or into quicksand or something equally deathy, you'll get hit by a quick death dialogue where Tails screams out for Sonic's name right before dying. His dying breath was for Sonic. Everything he does is for Sonic. But okay, that isn't really out of character for a sidekick. A sidekick's love for a main character is crucial to any storyline. Just look at Sam and Frodo from Lord of the Rings. If you've ever seen the movie or read the books, you'll know that Sam has a seemingly unhealthy obsession with Frodo. He blatantly puts himself below Frodo on the social ladder, calling Frodo Mr. Frodo, whereas Frodo never uses a prefix for Sam. Yet that love Sam has for Frodo is the only reason they're successful on their quest to destroy the ring. Sam's admiration for Frodo gives him the strength to carry Frodo up Mount Doom, to push through Mordor even when they'd run out of food and water and ultimately knew they were on a death errand. And that love is returned to Sam by Frodo's appreciation for everything Sam does. This love that sidekicks have for primary characters is seen in everything from Lord of the Rings to Harry Potter to Star Wars. It gives each character something to live and fight for, and they're able to overcome evil because of the bond they share. In the end, the sidekick becomes as much of a hero as the main character. It's a beautiful symbiotic relationship that makes the pair stronger the longer they fight together and the closer they are. That being said, this relationship only works if we see the bond between these two characters giving each of them strength and helping them achieve their goals. This doesn't happen in Sonic games. Sonic is, for all practical purposes, a solo fighter. He relies on nothing and no one except for himself and, on the rarest occasion, Shadow. But but not on Tails. Sonic and Shadow may have to work together to take down the toughest of enemies, but Sonic and Tails rarely ever actually work as a team. Tails derives strength and determination from Sonic because all he wants in life is to be Sonic, but Sonic doesn't share even remotely the same admiration or love for Tails that Tails has for him. That makes their relationship different than the relationship between Frodo and Sam. It takes that love that could be between them and makes it so completely one-sided that I'm not sure we can call it love anymore. And that brings us back to our original question. Does Tails love Sonic? This relationship doesn't seem like love to me. It seems like deep infatuation, to the point of loving someone else more than you love yourself. And that is not only not love, it's a dangerous path to follow. Caring about someone to the point where you'll do anything for them and you become dependent on them and their emotions. This is exasperated even more by the fact that, as we've talked about in other videos, Sonic is a love avoidant, which means that whenever someone tries to attach themselves to Sonic, he'll reject that intimacy and find those feelings and emotions outside of their relationship. And what do you know, Sonic almost always fights alone, and when he does need help, who does he call? He doesn't call Tails, he calls Shadow. Sonic doesn't return Tails' affection with anything substantial, and that makes Tails crave Sonic's attention even more, turning what could have been a truly loving and awesome sidekick relationship into a everything I do for you type of character in Tails. That's not love, that's someone who needs therapy. But hey, that's just my take on Tails and his love for Sonic. Let me know what you think, and while you're at it, check out our relationship video about Sonic and Amy, if you haven't already. Also, I want to remind you all that this weekend, June 23rd through the 25th, is Too Many Games. All three of us Treesicle dudes are going to be there, and we're going to be hosting some panels. So find us if you're there, and if not, check out our Twitter and Instagram, and we'll be posting whether or not our panels are going to be streamed anywhere. We'll be back after Too Many Games with more stuff, but until then, don't go stalking any blue hedgehogs to the point of unhealthy infatuation. See ya!